Hello, friends! Welcome to our city zoo! I don't know about you, but I am super excited to see some animals today, and I'm especially excited to see my favorite animal, the sloth. They're so cool! They're also like a really underrated animal. I feel like they don't get the love from people that they deserve. Sometimes I just wish I could write something that celebrates sloths, you know? Oh, hey Mia, fancy meeting you here. What's that? You love sloths too? You love sloths so much that you wrote an ode to celebrate them. Mia, that is so awesome. We definitely have to read that when we go see the sloths. What's that? What's an ode, you ask? Well, I think it's time we learned all about them. As always, make sure that you're following along with your PDF so that you can take guided notes to refer back to later. An ode is a type of celebratory poem that honors or pays tribute to a person, place, thing, or idea. The ode originated with the ancient Greeks, who would use them to celebrate athletic victories. During this time, odes were also set to music. Later on in history, English Romantic poets would use the ode to celebrate just about anything, but especially the people they loved. They were able to use this form to connect with ancient history, as well as innovate the ways we can express emotions through language. Odes traditionally have a three-stanza structure. It's not required for them to have a strict meter or rhyme pattern, but they can if the poet chooses to. The first stanza, called the strophe, introduces the subject and sets the triumphant and celebratory tone. The second stanza, called the antistrophe, provides an opposing perspective of the subject introduced in the first stanza. The third and final stanza, called the epode, provides a positive conclusion and final reflection or summary of the theme or subject. It's important to remember that, traditionally, odes have a very joyful tone. Remember, this is an outpouring of love for the subject of the poem. And speaking of things worth loving, I think I see a sloth. Look at him! Isn't he awesome? Oh, thanks, Mia. Is this the ode about sloths that you wrote? You bet I'm excited. Let's read it. Oh, sloths, how I adore thee. I love them for their peaceful and tranquil nature. From the tops of trees to the forest floor, they're a sight to see. And yet, some say they're dull and uneventful. They remind us to be patient and thoughtful. They take their time and enjoy the simple things. So here's to the gentle sloths, so content and wise. May we cherish them for their ways. Long live your slow and steady pace, a reminder to us all to slow down and thrive. What structural components of odes do you notice in this poem? Pause your video and make your notes in your PDF. The structural components of this poem are the three stanzas: strophe, antistrophe, and epode. The ode introduces a love for sloths in the first stanza, the strophe. In the second stanza, the antistrophe, it provides an opposing perspective of sloths. Mia did this so well by setting the tone of praising sloths and then providing the opposing view that they're dull and uneventful. The third stanza, the epode, concludes and wraps up the ode by affirming praise for sloths, despite the opposition shown in the antistrophe. The ode also has a complimentary tone towards sloths, saying that there is a lesson to learn from their peaceful and tranquil nature. Great job with your ode, Mia. Say, you wouldn't happen to have any tips for anyone looking to write their own ode, would you? Great, let's hear them. Here are Mia's tips to create an ode. She says to keep the celebratory tone. You must also use the three-stanza structure to guide you. Most of all, be creative. Now it's your turn to try writing your own ode. Follow the template in your guided notes to write an ode to your own favorite animal. Here's an example. Another animal that I love is the flamingo. So the first stanza of my ode would be about how flamingos are awesome. The second stanza would explain that some people do not love their strong smell. And I would end the ode with, hey, flamingos are pink, that's cool, and I love them anyway. While you do that, I'm gonna finish up an ode I've been working on about something else that I think is worth celebrating. Pause the video here to write your ode. All right, I cannot wait to read your ode, but before you head off, an epode from mine. So here's to the learners and lovers of poetry, the surveyors of art with words. May we cherish them for their sharp eyes and empathetic souls. Long live the learners of language who never stop learning more. Until next time, everyone.